Hi everyone, welcome to Out of the Box Room, where I'm joined by travel industry professionals to talk and to share experiences, both personal and professional, straight out of my box room turned into an office. Please don't forget to like, to share, and most important, to come back for more. Today, I'm joined by Julia Feuell, founder and CEO of toott, online travel training. Enjoy it. Welcome to the box room in this dreadful weekend with rain and not very good weather. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. It's watering the plants at least, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And making England green. So of course we know each other very well through, past working together, through my different roles, the airline and the Foreign Airlines Associations. But would you please, can you please give a short introduction of yourself for the viewers?
Yes, so I am Julia Feuell and I set up online travel training. It was on the back of running a company called New Frontiers, which is a recruitment company for the travel industry. And OTT, as the short name for online travel training, came about just over 10 years ago. We create e-learning in 17 languages for the global travel professionals to learn more about airlines and destinations and cruise companies so they sell more.
A lot of training in all these years. So Julia, I haven't seen you for a long time. And probably is just almost 2 years. What have you been up to in the last couple of years?
Well, a lot has happened in a couple of years, I would say, Patricia. Certainly for me personally, we had just literally got through our OTT awards. We were the very last event to go live in March of 2020, and then literally the next day or the day after that the whole country went into lockdown, so that was all a bit of a shock, and then we all started to work from home as absolutely everybody did, and then our neighbour caught COVID and she was taken to an intensive care.
Wow.
Luckily she was okay and she survived, but that meant also myself and my partner caught COVID. But we were okay with it, because it is a bit like Russian roulette. You don't quite know. You're either going to be in intensive care or, for us it was quite mild. And I think the weirdest thing was losing complete sense of smell. That was for me the weirdest thing altogether. So personally then I got used to working from home and then having to manage a team from home as well, which was very interesting, and also to manage everyone's worries about what this was, because it was quite a time of concern and worry, and we all had to adjust very quickly. But I think because our systems were in place, luckily for us to be able to work remotely, as a company we were able to transition. So personally it's been quite an interesting time. I've worked throughout, obviously, in running the company, and been talking to people all around the world, all different destinations and travel suppliers, and so sort of finding out how things have been in all different places of the world in regards to their lockdowns, how light and how difficult it's been for people and what's been happening to them. So quite interesting times.
Oh God, yes, interesting, and in the same time a little bit, well, not a little bit, very scary. And I'm sorry to hear that you had the COVID, but happy to know that it was not too bad. And I suppose, of course, running a business, it must have meant a lot of adjustment to your business, and of course you do have people working in your company. And how did you manage all that with the lockdown and the closure?
Yeah, I think the key was really tight communication. So we had daily meetings, and we still have daily meetings, and I would encourage anyone to keep that going, because then you kind of keep in touch. I would never have done that in an office setting, because that would be overkill and way too much. But remotely, people need to check in, they need to hear what everyone else is doing, and I think they need to sort of feel connected. It's quite easy just to feel disconnected if no one's really talking to you. So that seems to have been quite a good way of working forward remotely, which is great. And as regards to the platform, obviously we have lots of different airlines and cruise companies and destinations that are on the platform. And then as the pandemic progressed, we then, they were wondering how to sort of bring awareness to their brands without overtly marketing in a way that sort of said, book us, because destinations were closed, for example.
Yeah.
So some quite interesting innovation comes through from that, and we set up coffee break webinars, which was really fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and what that meant was you had to teach the trade something new about your brand that they could learn in 20 minutes, because OTT's training is micro training, so no more than 20 minutes anyways, and that's the attention span, so people can like your program here, 20 minutes, and that's actually perfect timing for the attention span. So we had like Gibraltar taught the trade how to do paddleboarding. We went live to Gibraltar, and there was someone on the beach trying to sort of show how you do your paddleboarding, which was fun. Visit Sweden showed us how to do yoga. We had Malaysia Airlines teamed up with Four Seasons Hotel, and we watched the chef cook some shrimp curry on the beach. And so I really enjoyed going live to all sorts of locations. It's almost like TV. It can go a little bit awry at times, when connections don't work out, but that was good. And then we did some destination unlock webinars as well to help the trade explain how destinations were then opening up, and we got the airline together with the destination and the hotel association to explain COVID protocols along the way, and just really how to move things along, because the consumers' questions were vast, and they wanted the details. So the trade needed to know as much in detail as possible about things, so that they could reassure travellers, really, so that they could then start booking.
So I suppose the information in a fun way was the key. And I appreciate that information about COVID. Hopefully we will not need going forward, but the coffee section and any other element, are you thinking of taking them forward to the new normal?
Well, I think COVID is going to be around for some time in its various different variants, a bit like the flu season. You get different types of flu. So I have a feeling that this is going to be with us a while. But knowledge and detailed knowledge to the trade is always important anyway. And things change, routes change, different sailings routes, and aircraft, different kinds of aircrafts and different routes. I mean, there's lots of things to talk about, including health and safety, whether it's at airports or on board an aircraft or wherever it may be, in a hotel. And safety has now sort of gone shot right to the top of everyone's agenda to make sure everybody is well and safe. And the second part to that is probably the environment, I would say, will start coming through, and how we're considering that aspect of it too. So we really are just a knowledge platform. The companies that put the knowledge on there has come straight from them, or put the information on there has come straight from them, so it's very authentic and can be relied upon. And I think it's been useful. So we've been discussed as a sort of haven by the travel professionals, where you can sort of dream about destinations, dream about getting there, and where we've had some people furloughed that have been doing the training. They've said that it's been a really important escape. I hadn't really appreciated the mental aspect of the sort of that kind of side of thing that OTT can provide for people, which was really nice, especially with the webinars as to complement it all. So we kind of stayed away from the sort of the media, will the industry survive or not survive or anything. We just remained on product, and that's how we will continue moving forward, because our role is all about product, and if you can learn it as well as you can, then you will help the travel industry get moving faster, because you're reassuring people faster, which will make them say, yes, I'll book, and I'll book for now, and I'll book for next year.
Yeah, thank you. I suppose the field you are in is very relevant, because technology took an incredibly prominent position during lockdown by connecting people, and in fact all the Zooms and Teams, and of course upskilling. In my own company, we have been doing so many courses and webinars, but and it's interesting to know what you've been offering to the travel industry, but how did the travel industry reacted to OTT? Was there a hunger for it, or how did they react?
Well, we'd never seen anything like it. For the first 3 months, we had 3 times our normal activity in all respects, in terms of registrations, of people spending time online, so that went up 3 times, and people doing the courses, the amount of courses that they were doing as well. It's almost as if we were devoured in the first 3 months, and I can't really explain that necessarily, but it was a good thing. I mean, it has tailed off somewhat now. It's still tracking above 2019 levels. And again, I think this is because knowledge is being so important through it. But yes, it was this huge spike that we did receive. And in 2019, we had about 30% of the travel professionals that are registered with OTT were remote workers anyway. So there's quite a large community that already were used to remote working. But then that shot to sort of 74% on one of the surveys, and I'm sure it's been fluctuating sort of between 100% because of the pandemic down to sort of, you know, around sort of 60, 70%. And I think it will probably continue that way in a kind of hybrid way as people kind of go back to the office for a few days a week and probably work from home for a few days a week. We'll see. But
fantastic. Fantastic. One thing, you know, with travel that is, of course, not still not open, and the desire for people to travel, I believe that people are becoming a little bit more choosy on where to go, what to do. And you were talking before about safety and about knowledge. Do you think that, for instance, I mean, for me, customers' experience should be taken very much an important part of the whole journey and the whole travel experience, because, of course, if you can do less, the one that you do has to be a proper experience. Are you offering as well customers experience courses, or what do you think? What's your take on it?
Well, again, through the pandemic, we worked very closely with the associations whose members were really having a difficult time in again, working out how to promote themselves, but without you know, encouraging people to book necessarily because they were closed. It's a difficult thing, because you need to keep awareness going, because you don't want to be forgotten, or whatever brand you are. And as an airline, you need to keep awareness going even if you're not flying as much as you were, because you don't want anyone to think you're no longer flying, for example. Yeah. So there is a kind of a happy medium to doing that. But so you kind of then from that had different schools of thought. Some tried to go into a bunker, and others tried to sort of do lots of promotions and send us news and do e-shots about themselves as well. So, but the main thing was, through the associations, we then had a long tail of all kinds of different lovely products coming through. And in fact, one this week that's just coming through on one of the associations is Ecuador and the Galapagos Islands. And it was just like, oh, it sounds so dreamy. I'm looking forward to that. And we had Prom Peru as well. They're about to build a course as well. And, you know, these sorts of destinations, sometimes they're called emerging, like Guyana calls himself an emerging destination, and they went live last year as well. And Cook Islands has such funny videos by these aunties they're just hilarious, that anyone feeling down, just go onto a Cook Islands course and watch the aunties, and you'll be cheered up, because it's impossible not to be. So it's interesting. Everyone just had to kind of work out, how do I do this? And that sort of slick marketing side of it sort of stopped for a while to allow just almost what I would call raw marketing to take place. So we had a destination unlock webinar with Puerto Vallarta and Marriott Hotel, very slick, beautiful, big brand, placed 6 different people all around the hotels, and we did a quick virtual tour. And as we sort of went from reception through to housekeeping, we lost signal in one of the rooms, but overlooking the most magnificent beach. And I said, well, if you're going to lose signal anywhere, that's where you want to lose it, over the beach.
Absolutely.
But it just felt really authentic and real. And then she went, right now, Maria, by the pool, and we over to the pool, and here, this is where it is, and this is where you get changes. And it was, and I kind of, you feel like you've been to that destination, just like with the coffee break webinars. We felt we'd visited Gibraltar, or we felt we'd been to Sweden that morning, and we had, albeit virtually. So we kind of enabled travel professionals to still travel fam trips, if you will, in a really odd way, but it kind of keeps travel alive, and we all love travel. That's our passion.
Absolutely, yeah. So Julia, you've been talking about all these wonderful destinations, but on the chat that we had, you were saying that just before the pandemic, in fact, you started a new venture where you're not just selling destinations from UK, but also you do training from other parts of the world. So your company became fully international. How do you find the different, the travel consultant, the travel community, any difference, or can you share with us any difference around the world, the way you operate?
Well, that's what I just love about the world, is that the world is full of unique people, and they all have different ways of living. And to me, it's always fascinating and interesting. And we are in 17 languages, but we've decided to focus on 8 specific countries. So just to give you an idea where some of our training is obviously in different languages, if you just take English as a sort of one language, in America, when the marketing agency we work there to promote our USA website, they started to Americanize, if that's even a word, I don't know, but sort of.
Well, we understand
you know what I mean?
It means. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so they started to sort of make it sound a lot more kind of in their kind of tone. And if you do understand more language, in Germany, they changed the translated versions of our website from Z, which is more formal, to Do, which is more informal, and again made it very local and how it should be for the German community. So we've decided that as we grow globally, we want to grow more locally, if that makes any sense, because the training needs to be, if you create a course for the UK market, as Singapore did, they are our top course actually for 2020, most popular course. They then created one for Germany, but they need to think about what did the German travellers like when they come to Singapore as distinct to the UK travellers, and so on and so forth, which takes some thinking. But if you can manage to do that and think about those travellers and what's different about them and what they like, then you tailor the content. It should be a lot more, you would get a better result, because that you're appealing to exactly what those people want to find out. Yeah,
it's more attractive, and as well being localized is more relatable. Oh, fantastic. Yes. Julia, this is a very difficult question, but I'm sure you have thought about it. Any prediction for the future you can share, since you speak all the time to people that do book travel, sell travel, and learn about travel? Can you share with us your thoughts? I'm not going to come back to you and say you said that, I promise.
Well, I do believe we are living literally through history at the minute. We're making history every day. This is the pandemic period, and our schools will look back on the pandemic and they'll learn about it in terms of history, from health, from economics, from marketing, everything. This whole period, from technology, this will all be studied. So I think sometimes when things become a bit overwhelming, you should just bring it down to, no, I'm living through history, this is just how it is. So much so I'm even going to do a photo album of my own personal sort of experience of the pandemic, of photos and family, and and just funny signs I've seen on the windows of shops, and because this is literally how it is. And of course, technology has been a large part. We talked about that, and Zoom just zoomed through, that everyone started to use, away from Skype for some reason, and Teams has come through a lot as well. So the way in which we connect and communicate, I think, is already changing our lives. But I do think that there will be face-to-face events still will come back. So the quick sort of transactional meetings you can do will be probably conducted virtually. But if you want to have a conference, really be with colleagues, really understand what's something that's going on, then it's much better face-to-face, and you dedicate a whole day for that. And same with exhibitions, if you want to really browse around and meet people again. And we're a very sociable industry. So I do think that there will still be events. I do think there will still be offices, even though we've closed ours, maybe in a hybrid sort of way, more flexibility. And I also think that people's lives, working lives, will be so changed. So our children coming through, will have much more freedom to work in whichever part of the world they want to work for, whichever company. We just appointed a marketing expert in South Africa to work for us. So, you know, you can find the skills wherever you need to find them in the world. And they may be able to choose their own hours and how they work more than they've ever done ever before, instead of having to definitely get there for 9 o'clock and, you know, manage all the travel rush to get to the specific office.
Much more efficient.
Lots of people, yeah. So there you go, a bit of a holistic prediction.
Thank you very much, Julia. I really can't wait to see you again and continue the conversation, hopefully, speaking about pandemic and COVID as history. Yeah, I can't wait to see you. But in the meantime, I just want to say thank you very much for giving your time during the weekend, and also for being a guest at the Box Room. And well, next time I'll see you, hopefully through a nice glass of wine or maybe a nice meal. We like that.
Absolutely, Patricia. And thank you so much for inviting me to be a guest on your amazing show. I really appreciate it.
A pleasure. Thank you.